city that all the school systems, all our schools within the city, we own the city like that. They were city divided.
I went to 3 different schools.
Never heard of a school with a gun.
But this came from people outside. They come from Olive Branch people.
There we go.
Every school's in the city limits.
Y'all, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're going to start by having Mr. Eli Mills come up and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance today.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Eli, I'm going to give you this. This is the official pen of the board that I'm Alderman with. Thank you for doing that for us. Alderman Miller, would you give our invocation?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again. Once again, we just say you thank you for this day. Thank you for all your many different blessings. We ask now, Heavenly Father, that we come to run the service for this community, that whatever we do will first be pleasing in thy sight. We ask you, Heavenly Father, that you look in on the family, Heavenly Father, that has lost everything over on Parkway. Ask you, Heavenly Father, that you will still encourage them and camp your angel around them. We just thank you right now. Bless in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Eli, y'all don't have to stay for the whole meeting, but you can if you want to.
Good job, Eli.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the docket of claims.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the docket of claims listed on the agenda. Second.
There is a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. I need to approve the minutes from the regular mayor and board meeting on August 16th, the recessed meeting on August 23rd, the recessed meeting on August 25th, and the other one on August 31st.
So move.
Second.
The motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. I have a motion on the consent agenda.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. I have a motion on the personnel docket.
I'll make a motion to approve the personnel docket.
The motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Was there a second? Who seconded that?
I did.
Okay. It's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. I have a motion on the donations docket.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. We need a motion to proclaim September 26th through September 30th of this year as Stormwater Awareness Week.
So move.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Number 11 is to approve the lead and fiscal partner Hernando Excel by 5 Coalition MOU that's in your packet.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the MOU listed. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is authorization for completion of the municipal compliance questionnaire and signatures. I think the city clerk has put it in your packet.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the municipal compliance questionnaire listed.
Second.
So motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Approval to advertise for a loan for the animal shelter in the amount of $785,000. As y'all know, we are underway on construction, and they're going to start wanting to be paid.
Mayor, I'd make a motion to table that until we discuss our budget tomorrow evening.
There's a motion on the table with a second to table that until tomorrow morning's budget discussion.
I just have a question.
Tomorrow evening.
What? I mean, I don't have no problem tabling it, but the question is that we got to make the loan anyway.
I
We
understand
ain't got
that.
the money.
I understand that, and we can discuss it now, or we can discuss it tomorrow, but I have some questions about the amount that's being borrowed for the animal shelter.
I think the question need to raise it now.
We can, or we can talk about it tomorrow when we talk about the general budget. That's why I asked to table it until tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
What's it matter if we table it one day? I don't understand what the rush is.
I was just asking a question about.
Well, I gave you an answer. You asked a question, I gave you an answer.
Well, that's
the way it works.
That's when I was asking. I wasn't challenging your question, I was just asking why, you just answered.
No, okay.
Did you have a question about the amount? That's.
There's a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no.
No.
That motion passes, and it will be discussed as part of the budget discussion during the public hearing tomorrow. We will move on to item 14. This is to declare Hernando Engine 1 Reserve as a surplus. It's a 96 Spartan pumper with the VIN number listed there in front of you. This is the oldest of the 3 reserve pumpers we have, and it's no longer helpful to our fire rating and really has become a drain on our funds.
Motion to authorize.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is to authorize to sell that same engine with that VIN number to Duck Hill Fire Department for $5,000.
Motion to approve.
I have a quick question. Is
Yes.
there a way that we can, with that $5,000, can we designate that towards the principal on the existing fire vehicles that we're trying to pay off, or?
We could if you want to, sure.
It seems like that would be a prudent thing to do.
We could just change the upcoming budget when y'all adopt it to add another $5,000 to a principal payment.
We need a new motion to reflect all that, or can we just
Sure.
motion, Beth?
Motion to approve adding the proceeds of the $5,000 sale to the principal.
Second.
The motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is the request to apply for the 2022 Urban and Community Forestry Grant Program. Y'all have any questions on that? If you do, Austin is here to answer them. He is the one doing the application.
Yes, sir. During my budget presentation a week or so ago, I mentioned the request to bring the code enforcement officer to a full-time position. The amount in the budget is to fund that position entirely through our local budget. This is an opportunity to, hopefully through USDA, the Forest Service, to maybe add in a few additional duties and reshape the job description to help out with the enforcement of our tree ordinance, come up with some new ways to involve our board and hopefully pay for the position to the amount of $20,000. The grant amount's $20,000 and the local match is 20%. And in my application, I plan to make it with an in-kind match with office supplies, the use of vehicles, and the office space. But if you have any questions, please let me know.
Questions or concerns?
Mayor, I make a motion that we apply for the 2022 Urban and Community Forest Grant.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, as we are applying for our ARPA match money through MDEQ, we need to do this resolution that Pam has put in front of us, so we need an approval of that resolution to apply for the DEQ ARPA grant program.
They haven't put out any timelines, have they?
They have. It's open now, and it goes till September 30th. And we've been in contact with Mike Foster from Pickering. They're helping us do our grant applications, and this is a piece of that.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution to apply for the MDEQ ARPA grant program. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion passes. Next is to approve the lowest and best bid of $273,433.55 from Excavators, Inc. for the EWP Fort Creek and Creekside Boulevard project. And the numbers for this are in the proposed budget. This number, along with our match, it's total of about 409 when you add them together.
Make a motion to approve the lowest and best bid of $273,433.55 from excavators for the EWP Fort Creek and Creekside Boulevard project.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Approval, number 19, approval of intergovernmental cooperative purchase agreement for EMS purchases with Desoto County, Mississippi. The county brought this to our attention. They think we might could buy some of our EMS supplies at a discounted rate if we went together and bought them in bulk. So this might be an opportunity for us to save a little money. And help the county maybe save a little money as well.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, item 20, approval of Tegra Medical Resolution, finally granting a 5-year personal property tax exemption and 9-year real tax exemptions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next, item 21, approval of memorandum agreement with Hernando West Development LLC for constructing a sewer trunk line as set forth in the public sewer improvements plans and specifications. This is something that is required for us as we get the cap loan totally in place. That's going to be funding the Hernando West sewer line, which will be repaid through this memorandum of understanding agreement on tax assessments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is the approval of a resolution declaring that it is necessary for the public good to make a certain special capital improvement in the city of Hernando, Mississippi, describing as the location, nature, and extent of the work of said improvement, and to provide for the payment of the cost of said improvement by assessment against the properties benefited in accordance with the provisions of Section 21-41-1 through 21-41-53 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 as amended, and publish a public hearing date of 9/15, 9/22, 9/29 to be held at the October 4th, 6 o'clock board meeting at City Hall.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 23 is to approve to advertise the Dogwood Hollow Sewer Project. And Joe Lauderdale is here if y'all have questions on that. Are there any questions?
Are we just going from that line down in the bottoms up to Dogwood Hollow, or is that pretty much the scope of the work?
They would have to put a lift station there at those ravines,
Okay.
at the end of the street, pump it back down to Macavale Road, where the main sewer line crosses the road, at that big lift station there.
After this is done, do you think there will be greater capability for other dead-end roads along Pleasant Hill to tie in? I don't know if that makes sense or not.
I guess it's possible, because this is a little bit different system.
Right.
This is a gray water system.
Yes, sir.
Those houses still.
Yes, sir.
Tank and everything, so, yeah, one of the other streets in there was to, put in the tanks and pumps and
Okay.
pump to this area, it could be done.
Okay.
But I generally think one day when that property develops south of there, it'll all be gravity flowing, and we need those stations. We've got to get some right of way through that property.
Any other questions or a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to motion to approve to advertise the Dogwood Hollow Sewer Project.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Joe, you might want to stay up here. The next one's you too. Approval for Joe Frank Lauderdale to obtain easements for Chapel Grove water line on Robertson Gin Road. We're requiring that developer to put in a water line loop. So the water lines are going to have to go down Robertson Gin. They don't really have a way to get easements like a city does. So basically, the understanding is they'll put in the line, but we need to get the easements along the road so they can install that line. And that'll help create a full loop with Montclair. Did I say that right, Joe?
You did?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is the approval to release the construction bond on the AWG fire protection pumps and tank.
Got to read the agenda.
And just so everybody remembers, just to keep it straight in everybody's mind, the city got a grant that reimbursed us for building that AWG fire suppression tank on their property. We will let this bond go, and we will no longer own or have anything to do with that tank. It belongs to AWG. They'll be completely in charge of maintenance on it from now on.
You can see the tank sitting up there toward the north of the building. Of course, it's supplied, the water supplied by Nesbitt in the tank, but everything's in place. I think they're just working through the fire department and the insurance company to finalize everything on the sprinkler system. They have completed their construction.
To approve? Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is the presentation by Wagner Engineering on the traffic study. I don't see Wagner Engineering here.
Hey.
Tracy Goldman said he was going to be here.
Yeah, because I reminded him on Friday, and he said he was going to be here.
He'd come up with a plan, an idea, and asking about the soda electric, going through it now and looking at it and deciding, some cost.
I think the board wants to look at the plan first to make sure we like the plan before we start getting costs, so.
He may show up because he said he was coming.
Okay, we've been running through the agenda pretty quick. If he shows up, we'll just go back up to him if that's okay with everybody. We'll just skip that item for now.
That's fine.
Number 27, the discussion on the East Parkway Water Tower graphics. That came up suddenly. I'm looking for Lee. Lee's out there somewhere. Yeah, you want to explain why it came up so suddenly, quicker than we thought?
So they called me on, I guess it was Saturday. They found some structural beams that were damaged in one of our elevated tanks at East Parkway. And we can't take the Jaybird tank down right now. Neil's, my water operator's on vacation, so I don't feel comfortable with that. So they're going to move to the elevated tank on 55 at East Parkway. And they actually started pressure washing it today. So they'll start painting it very soon. I would think within a week or two, probably 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. So it was kind of rushed on us, but they wanted to utilize their guys here and not have downtime because they have to bring a separate crew in to do all the metal repairs on the other tank. So that's where we're at. And then Miss Natalie gave this to me today. Everybody should have a copy of it. We just need a decision. I mean, I know it's rushed, but we just need a decision pretty quick. That way we don't have remobilization costs for the contractor and, you got a white water tower with nothing on it and town's in uproar. Why didn't we put anything on the water tower? So, how it goes.
No tiger paw.
Okay, so I do want tigers. Now, we could, like I said, we don't have a lot of time. We could change this Mississippi to say tigers underneath it. What do y'all think about
That right
that?
there, Bruce. Oh, the Hernando Tigers?
Say just tigers. Instead of Mississippi, say tigers, and it would say Hernando Tigers.
What if you made the O a tiger paw?
We might could do that.
Since everybody's wanting a tiger paw in there, you can just at least put it, one of the letters.
You want that, Andrew?
Man, 2 years, man, I want Paul, man.
I was trying to get you riled up.
I'm
trying to make a.
You said I'm calm now? I'm calm, man.
I agree.
I'm
We
persistent,
should
I mean.
we should put a tiger somewhere. I mean, do you think if we could by the end of the week, is that
Yeah, it's fine.
possible? Okay.
The sooner their graphics team gets it, of course, the better. But
Right.
yeah, I think we'll be fine at the end of the week.
Okay. All right, we'll see about,
Are there like, if we do something like that, is there gonna be like special charges because it's this,
Anything besides what's there now will be special charges.
okay, so what?
So it's gonna be
what are we-
special charges
Mandate
anyway.
letters, anything that different than that will be special charges.
Now, when we did this on the other
So
one,
you're paying anyway, you know.
yeah, when we did the script on the other one, it was about the same price, wasn't it?
3,500 extra.
3,500 extra goes to
Okay.
the script, okay.
So it's not outrageous, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it was gonna be tiger paws cost $50,000.
No.
Come on, man.
Tiger paws as much.
You can buy a whole tire up there, man, put them there.
How often are these painted?
8
How
to 10
often?
years.
8 to 10 years, okay, so we wanna like it, 8 to 10 years.
Andrew, I'm with you.
Hey, I'm gonna come on Fairway where you at, man. We're gonna sit down.
And then after that, it's that whatever fee it is to repaint again, if you want to go the same thing. But if you want to change it, then, you know, they would do a recalculation.
Will we have it on north and southbound, like we'll have 2 of them?
It's up to you guys. It's up to you.
Is it on both
I think-
sides now? I can't remember.
it is.
It's on
because
both sides
You
now.
can read it from the
North and
high
south.
school, and from,
You can see it from the football field, right?
look, I'm pro-tiger. I just want it to look good, and I don't want to be rushed on it. That's all.
And you can see it from the football field, right?
You can.
This is the one that you can.
That's correct.
It's like,
Until
that'd
the
make
high
for
school
some good,
moves.
that makes for some good photos and stuff, you know?
You can put home of the Hernando Tigers. and then
Trademark
ball.
issue?
You could do.
I know,
one
the whole,
side on
that leaping, that tiger, that looked great, wouldn't it?
So, do y'all, it sounds like everybody's kind of leaning towards doing something with the tiger on there. Is that kind of true? So, it appears that somehow Alderwoman Lynch has become our designer because she has expertise in this. What if she comes up with something, kind of passes it back and forth via email, and everybody kind of comes to a consensus, and she gives it to Lee? Y'all good with that?
Okay. We'll get something in the
Pressure's
next
on
day
you,
or two.
Alderwoman Lynch.
And we want it on 2 sides, so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Whatever it
that's
is,
our
we see it from
largest
both.
water tower in it. See it northbound, southbound, yeah. Entrance to our city
then-
either way.
Okay. Any other
the little
discussion on
things,
that
people.
item, or is
It's the
everybody
little
comfortable with
things.
that?
This is like a tangent off of that, but like any of the marketing stuff for like Water Tower Festival or whatever, if we can get that updated as these things happen so that it's like the new fresh look or whatever else, I think that would be important.
Okay.
I know that.
I'll
Water
get Gia
Tower-
to work with Siboney to see if they can
I think they
adopt
come
our
up with-
logos.
I know we're not necessarily in charge of Water Tower Fest,
The
but
old tank, right?
Yeah,
all of those events surrounding it, I
it
think
is
it'd be good to have the updated
It would
photos.
be.
Based on the old tank.
good point.
I think most all the marketing is based upon the old tank, not the new, most of it.
Oh, the one over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it really affect the marketing unless you change totality, but I think, I could be wrong, but I asked my expert on here, so. He said-
She would know. She would know for sure.
I got an expert opinion.
Okay.
So y'all will have something, hopefully by the.
Everybody okay with
Ish.
Natalie taking the lead on it?
Yep.
Going back and forth and coming up with something, giving the lead?
Perfect.
Okay. I don't think we need a vote on that, y'all.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right, then we will move on to the big part of the night, the presentation of the Public Works proposed budget. Y'all got it all in your packet on Friday, I believe. And the things that were major changes, Lee gave you 2 cover sheets that described what those changes were, like y'all had asked for, and I think that turned out very easy to read. So I'm sure some of you have questions if y'all want to.
Yes,
Lee, do
please.
you have an overview you want to give before they start? Or you want to go into questions?
No, we just got questions. I think everything was there pretty much in that little breakdown. I tried to be as simple as possible and where everybody can understand it.
So Lee, you're asking for a field inspector, engineer, and then 2 other head count. That's, as far as your head count going up, that's it, right?
It'll be 4.
Forehead count.
I'm sorry.
And then one more, yes, sir, and then the field engineer. Yes, sir. For doing these subdivision and infrastructure inspections and stuff like that, for grading, infrastructure that's in the ground, making sure that's up to snuff, you know, so we don't have issues like we've had in the past. Long time ago.
So, I'm on with Chad now. If I'm, kind of slow, so bear with me, okay? On 410, it said 2 new positions in sanitation.
Yes, sir.
Then it said 650-14, adding 2 positions to the water crew.
Yes, sir.
That's 4.
Yes, sir.
Then, on the top, 14, this is a new position for a field inspector. You saying 5 people.
That's correct.
I mean, I just want to make sure I heard.
He said 2, and then we
Yeah, so
talked
I-
about 4, and then the 1 field engineer
So it's
position.
5 then.
I forgot about the 2 for the water crew.
No, I was trying to make sure I read it correctly.
Yes, sir,
And
you did.
5 people.
Lee, the engineer is gonna be a full-time position, is that correct?
Yes, sir, full-time, absolutely. Be working closely with me and Joe Frank and Austin and Mayor, everybody.
But that position will answer to Public Works in the
Yeah, that's how it's
organizational flow
generally,
chart.
that's how those are generally set up in other cities. It makes the most sense. He's the keeper of the GIS system, and he's in charge of all the pipes and things in the ground, so.
As he's out inspecting pipes, doing infrastructure inspections like we do now, that we really don't have time to do, but Joe Frank helps us out when he can. He can GPS that pipe as it's going in the ground too. You're not relying on locate wires or anything like that. We'll have accurate depths, topography, everything. So I think it'll be if we can find somebody, I think it'll be
And they would
win-win.
work
That's-
with the planning department, much like Matt, our fire marshal, works with Austin.
Yes.
They would be called anytime there was something new going on, some new subdivision coming in, and they would work closely that way, but work for Lee.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a good idea.
I'm
So
I'm
he
off.
would probably end up saving us some money from.
In the long
his
run.
He or
position.
she.
He or she,
Absolutely.
yes.
Lee, let me ask you this, is you think, I think you got the salary here, 80,000, is that gonna be competitive for engineer?
I'm hoping so. Everybody that I've asked, every engineering company that I've asked is telling me between 70, 80 for a PE just out of college. You can't get anybody with a ton of experience, but you could get somebody that you could train and, could work with Joe Frank closely on stuff like that to get familiarized with it, how it should be.
Definitely need that.
And this was one of the things that came up from the Stormwater and Drainage Committee as we have had meetings, is just the workload on our community as neighborhoods are being developed or whatever else, having an extra set of eyes and hands on the situation to see what's going on with lots that are being graded. What's the drainage plan for every parcel? It's just a lot of work. I mean, that's what it all comes down to.
One person or 2 people, even. A lot. You can't
Wasn't-
catch everything.
Lee, wasn't there some discussion about contracting with some services to help get caught up with some of the work orders?
Yes, sir,
That's
that's
in here?
in there in water repairs. I think
We
we
basically put another $30,000 or $40,000, 50,000, an extra 50 in there.
I think Alderman Miller had mentioned that at the last meeting. I think that's a great idea as well.
Not that we don't need the people, because of course I'm adding the 2 positions, but that would buffer, some of the bigger jobs that we have. And in the summertime, it's just absolutely chaotic. If we're on a dig, like over in Bruce's neighborhood across the street, we gotta dig all the way across the street, it's a 7 or an 8 hour, 10-hour project because we've got soil cement that this deep that we have to jackhammer through. Well, that day we've gotten 7 to 10 work orders in for water leaks. So we're kind of going backwards,
My street, there was multiple leaks.
That's right. There was 3 or 4.
And on a good day, how many water leaks do you think you could fix in one day? with everybody out?
It depends on what type of water leaks. If they're just meter
Just
box
minor
leaks
stuff,
and
I
stuff
mean.
like that, I would say, Curtis, 5 to 7, something like that. That's a simple meter box leak, no more than a foot deep, right there at the box, requiring a wrap or a coupling and valve, stuff like that. But a street dig or something like that, you're anywhere from 4 to 10 hours, maybe longer. And that's every water crew personnel we have on that one call. So if anything else happens in the meantime, kind of like it did on Fairway, we had to cover everything up. And it looked like, that we had fixed the leak, we covered it up, and then 2 days later, it's pouring water out of it. We didn't get a chance to fix it because we had to pull off because we had a busted 8-inch water main somewhere else. So if we could get 2 crews moving and, working every day, I know in a perfect world, when everybody shows up, is not sick or, have something going on or on vacation, if in a perfect world, when we had 2 crews going, we wouldn't have to pull somebody off of a water leak. We wouldn't have to cover it up. We could maintain that one. We could pull the other crew off of a small meter box leak and have them go fix the main.
Lee, is there anything here that's kind of proactive, addressing areas maybe in my ward or Mr. Miller's ward that maybe not leaking or, but could be, or, just old pipes, or is there any proactive? I mean, you just get waiting for a call that's leaking, you go fix it?
Pretty much, yes, sir. In the older areas, though, the leaks are less prevalent because the workmanship and the material were so good back then, you don't have very many leaks in those. You do occasionally.
Yeah.
But, like in Mr. Miller's ward, all the pipes and everything, yes, they're old, but they all hold together. They're not leaking. It's this newfangled stuff, this plastic pipe, this, poly pipe that everything dries out and the earth shifts a little bit and everything's built on rock.
Didn't one time, at some meeting, a committee meeting or something, we talked about maybe smoking some of the pipes to see where our leaks were?
We did. So Mike Foster with Pickering, they're going to apply for an ARPA match grant to do the testing of our sewer lines in the old part of Hernando. That's what that was. It was in the infrastructure committee
And
meeting.
hopefully they're gonna also help with our, the crew will be up too, because we got so much that's
Yeah, it's
seeping
going, the
in,
rainwater going into the
that's
sewer.
going into the system that we're not aware of it. Hopefully we can identify, some of those.
All these ditch crossings and
Also
manholes.
share with them, and it's kind of weird that as we're talking about putting additional money into, putting into about Alderman Wickham, that the reason the money's not gonna be as great is for some unknown reason, and I don't know why, but from the spring of the year to the fall
Peak time.
is where we're gonna need most of the system. And so that money, additional contracting work will be done between spring and fall.
Yes, sir.
And from fall back around to spring again, it's gonna be less contracting out because for some reason, we just don't have that many problems. It's kind of weird, but, that based upon historical data, what they looked at.
As we're kind of making these decisions and whatnot, I had a thought. Do we have a customer count on how many customers we have with water and sewer? And how far back does that go? Where we could see a trend on that?
Ms. Jan sends out a monthly report each month.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming, I don't know how long they've been going on. I've only been here 2 years, but I would say, what do you think, Mayor? I think you get those too, don't you? The monthly reports, how far those went back.
No. It's quite a bit.
Yeah, I would say a good while. I mean, just with,
Well, really just ever since we got Northwest Mississippi Utility, that would be the big jump.
that's a little over 3,000 customers.
Yeah, that would be the big jump for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess since that purchase, since those people came online with the city of
Sure,
Hernando,
yeah,
if we could see that would be interesting, I think.
I can pull those for you. I'm sure Ms. Jan sent them out the whole time, so we can get that.
And then
Not a
your
problem.
capital improvement decrease was really, really large.
You got a loan coming off, I guess? Is that
Or what was that?
Well, we had 250,000 last year budgeted for tractors, so that came off.
Okay.
And then we only added a small portion back to that.
And I think we had a loan fall off for a brush truck, didn't we?
We did,
Yeah,
we did.
I think that's what you're referring to, Ben.
And another one's gonna fall off here pretty soon too.
And hopefully we can get the Public Works Department into a position like we are with the police cars where we're purchasing them outright and not doing loans on them.
Yeah, I don't like doing loans if we can help it.
rates going up?
Just to, Mr. Miller and Doc have already heard this info, but Curtis ran some numbers for us. From August to August, we completed 1,740 work orders. 1,108 of those were water. So that kind of gives some light there to, most of our work orders are. And like Mr. Miller said, those come between spring and fall, 1,108 work orders completed so far. That's not including the ones that are still open. And not including the ones that we didn't have work orders for, we just completed while we were on site because we were doing something else close by, or the mayor called, and we went and did this, or went and did that. Just never got around to creating a work order for it just because time constraints.
The 2 more people is going to make it a lot more efficient, you feel like?
It's gonna make it more efficient. I mean, we need more than that, but, we gotta start somewhere. Because it stands right now, like I said, we've got our water crew that goes out and fixes water, sewer, and storm drains for, over 7,000 customers. And then me and Curtis spend the majority of our day doing the same exact thing, and not getting admin work done, and not checking on other departments and within our department and stuff like that. It'd definitely be a good start. I didn't want to shoot too high on it. I wanted to we're already adding 2 other positions, and then the staff engineer, those salaries add up pretty quick. Trying to be conservative as possible.
Projecting a slight decrease in your budget, right?
Yes, sir.
No water rate increase, no sewer rate, no increase of what people are being billed or anything like that, correct?
We need a few increases down the road.
But not in this budget year.
Hopefully not. No. Mississippi State is begging us to do water increases for everything.
Alderman Wicker, excuse me, a big part of that decrease in revenue is the EWP project we did last year, or NRCS, was 751, and this one will just be 309, so.
And also we had a pretty significant decrease in the crew charges too. Yeah. Any questions on any other capital improvements or expenditures or?
The equipment shed that y'all are putting out there, y'all gonna put it out at y'all's property out there?
Yes, sir. It'll be on the side of the building. I guess that would be the west side of it. Towards the back there, we would just put kind of a lean-to. I kind of discussed it with Austin and for design guidelines and guidance, and I think we came up with something. Got a price on it, but hopefully it doesn't go up before. I padded it a small bit, hopefully for inflation. Hopefully that sticks. It'll be a slab, and I think it's like a 30 by 50, something like that. So if we need to park some long brush trucks or something like that under there, we can too. I just hate leaving equipment out in the rain, especially brand new tractors and stuff. A lot of them have the safety glass in it, so if you leave it out, the sun hits it, it fades it, you can't see out of it. I think the doors start at around, I think Jared just got a price on one of those, right? 3,000, 5,000? So, and that's just for one plastic door. I tried to get one from Desoto Glass, but it's got contouring in it, and they just can't get it to match and seal. So we have to go through the manufacturer, unfortunately. Want to take care, want to be good stewards of our equipment. Take care of it best we can.
Man, I know it's too late, but I still like to have that meeting that we never had with Public Works and the Police Department, and that we can create some significant savings on maintenance. I still like to have that meeting.
So what we're doing with this lift, this 4-post lift, is we're starting that process.
Absolutely. I'm going to
And
give
so
it to Chief.
the idea is we're going to work with and start pushing some of the police cars in there if we can. Get Willie to do oil changes, maybe brake jobs and things like that, and see how that works, and kind of work our way into it through this first year. But that's why the lift is in there, just to kind of get our feet wet.
Mm-hmm. Make it easier for our guys, less strain, rolling under vehicles, a lot safer.
Like I said, that's when we brought that up, but we never heard back from neither one of y'all.
A little over 7,000.
Anything else?
That lift too, it's got the center post jacks that go up and down so we can rotate tires and do brake jobs like the mayor was saying.
Oh, I know. I talked to him about it.
It's a great idea.
We had talked about that anyway.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Sorry I didn't get back to you on that. We just stuck in
Yeah,
the
we
budget.
talked about starting to ease out of
Ain't no problem.
outside
Long as it's
service
done.
and
It's a lot
in-house,
cheaper,
have
you know, to
in-house.
buy, pay an hourly guy and also to buy oil and filters in bulk, 55-gallon drums versus, quarts of oil. That's one of the first things I did when I got to Public Works. I was like, wait a minute, we're spending a fortune on DEF and, jugs of oil and stuff like that, quarts of oil from Napa, so let's go a different route, and priced it out, and it was significant savings.
Any other questions or concerns on the utility fund budget?
Did you follow the, I guess, mayor's guidance on any salary increases?
I did, yes, sir.
What was that, the 4%?
It was 4%, yes, sir. And then a few of my guys were under the $15 an hour mark, so I wanted to get those up to everybody up to at least $15 an hour.
And he also has a couple of special ones we'll discuss in executive session for salaries in a little bit.
Okay.
I noticed Tracy came in. Yeah, are y'all having more discussion on this budget? Are y'all ready to move on?
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for your
Appreciate
time.
it. Thank you, Lee. Tracy, you want to come up? We skipped right over you. Joe Frank was going to present it on your behalf, but we held him off.
Well, he could do it just as well. Does everyone have a copy or at least some version of the
We do not.
report? I've got a handout just of the schematic.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
You doing?
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Trish.
Okay, good evening. Just to kind of get started of what I handed out, just a brief memo that I provided to the mayor previously, and then the schematic that we'll kind of focus on as far as the ultimate results. The full report was with all the data and everything, approximately 50 pages from what I recall, but just to this main focus of this intersection, of course, is the study was East Commerce and McInville Road. And it started looking at predominantly the northbound left turn lane. So northbound on McInville, turning left onto Commerce, which I think everyone's well aware of the issues related to that. So I'm not telling you anything that you don't probably already know. But we did collect data on May the 11th of this year to determine what the peak flows of the traffic was in that intersection, and found that, in fact, that a dual left turn lane, northbound left turn onto Commerce, would help with this situation. We also looked at crash data for the past 3 years and noticed that there were several accidents in this intersection, particularly related to the left turn movements that was unprotected. So if you recall the intersection, you have the ability to turn left and then to yield to oncoming traffic coming southbound on McInville to make that turn. So as a result, those drivers feel a little stressed making that turn and may push their luck at times, and had resulted into some accidents for that. So ultimately, the recommendation out of this report was to do a dual left turn lane northbound onto Commerce as shown on that schematic. Now with that obviously creates a little tighter intersection, and you'll see what, as part of that, we would also need to channelize the striping for those dual left turns lane, because you also have a left turn from going southbound McInville onto Commerce. So for the design vehicle, as a result of that, we could not have those left turn movements occurring concurrently. So we would have to lag them to where you would have left turn, northbound, and northbound traffic moving at the same time. And then you would stop that traffic and then move southbound, left turn, and through traffic, so that you wouldn't have a big conflict. As a result of that, there will be some delay on the eastbound traffic holding, because they would be holding at the times that that signal phasing is lagging from the northbound and southbound. So as a result, you may the drivers may experience a little additional hold time on the eastbound and westbound traffic.
And would they on the east and westbound have longer green light times once it became their turn?
Well, probably not necessarily longer than maybe what they're experiencing now. You would just have additional backing up, I guess, if you would, of that traffic. So, because as they are, moving, you're going to traffic. The majority of the movement is to the northbound. So you'd want to stop them as soon as you could get the traffic free, and then allow and this mainly occurs at the AM. AM is the peak time of the traffic, but PM is obviously a close second. So ultimately, one of the long-term solutions would be to add, because as a result of that, all the traffic that would be going northbound, which is a heavy movement in the AM, because of the schools on the north side, obviously, that long-term, you would possibly need to add an additional northbound lane to accommodate that heavy traffic moving in the AM going north. So we feel like that, as more residents develop south trying to go north, then that could be a potential that you would have to do. But of course, that would require possibly buying right-of-way, doing the road widening, moving utilities and things. So that may be a longer-term solution that you want to look at through an MPO type intersection improvement project, if you decided to go that route.
Got a question for you that just popped into my head. So we've got heavy northbound traffic in the mornings, and we're talking about stopping the southbound traffic while the northbound makes their motions. So could we make that middle lane, I know we made it a turn lane only, so people going straight wouldn't back up people wanting to turn, but if they're all moving and nobody else is, could that middle one be a straight or left?
Could it be a straight in conjunction with the left?
Right, because they're moving anyway, they're not sitting
Well,
there
you
waiting.
have that one person that may want to turn left, and so it would actually create, if I'm understanding your question.
But didn't you say that whole north movement's going to happen at once with everybody else stopped? They'll be going straight and left?
Well, it's a lag. So if you look at the
Okay,
diagram.
I got you.
Yeah, it's a lag. So
Okay.
you'd want to move the northbound. If you look at the top left, if you can follow that schematic, you'd want to move the north and the left bound at the same time, left signal, and then stop the left turn signal and start moving southbound traffic, and then lag the left turn signal once.
Okay, so it's not a complete offset, it's just a lag, okay.
It's a lag.
Won't that back everything up from having 2 lanes going to the schools versus just one now?
Back everything northbound.
Because, everything's going northbound, and so everybody coming from, out Holly Springs and coming
South.
around, they're going to school. They're taking their kids to school or whatever, and they're only gonna have 1 lane now instead of 2.
That's correct. That would be a trade-off. But there was roughly 400 vehicles trying to turn, 350 vehicles trying to turn left. And there's roughly 200 vehicles trying to go north at the same time. So that's why you're needing additional.
Right. Ideally, it's like what you said, we need an
Yeah.
extra lane in there.
It would.
So we have 2 going left and 2 going north.
Right.
But,
And the traffic, so it's a trade-off.
Right.
But there's less traffic going north in the AM time than there is trying to turn left.
and that's heavy school traffic that was
Well,
monitored.
It's during May 11th, so
Did y'all
that school was
start
still in,
At like 6:30 in the morning?
yes, 6:30 to 8:30, and then
Okay.
4:30 to 6:30.
Tracy, one concern I have is if you start backing up traffic, I guess it'd be East Commerce there. Sonic is gonna be very difficult to get out and go left there. And that's a pretty popular place, especially at the AM time, so.
It's already
I don't-
hard to get out
I
there.
don't think that's any perfect solution, but that's maybe something.
That is, and we it depends on how heavy the traffic, on the particular day that we took the traffic, and we looked at what those lag times would be. It appeared that it would not back up to the point to where Sonic would be a problem, but if traffic is heavier than the day necessarily, that we took the analysis.
You can't adjust.
Well,
Right.
Yeah.
people might take advantage of the double turn lane and come out
Yeah,
past
that's true. They
Zaxby's
come out
and
the
get
back
in
way, yeah.
the turn lane. If they are connected,
Right, that's a, yeah.
But there are going to be some changes as new Hernando High School opens, okay? The middle school, which is 3 grades, moves to the high school. Oak Grove Central, 4th and 5th grade, moves to the middle school. So now you'll have 5 grades of kids going there instead of 7. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
So in theory, 2 years from now, you should see less congestion unless the class sizes just exponentially increase.
And in theory, most people would turn left, probably hit 55 to get off at Pleasant Hill to go to the new high school instead of
Right.
go through town, I would think.
I just remember another thing, also Commerce is gonna go all the way, I think, to Jaybird, I think is what the county project.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
That should help with some of the traffic coming up.
From the south.
From the south.
Yeah,
Yeah, some of those will be
So if you're
heading west and then go north. there.
Yeah, you could just jump, you can just go Jaybird straight over Holly Springs and come up that way, and then take a right there at Arby's
that's right.
instead.
Question, Tracy.
At least
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I would do if I was
I'm
going that
concerned
direction.
about McCracken and Commerce. It's already bagged up, so when we start putting, so, and MDOT is the worst folks about synchronizing lights. So, the synchronization here got to be stepped in tune with what's happening at 55 and McCracken and Commerce, all that right there together. So we're pushing way more traffic into that bottleneck, where it's already bottleneck now with just one lane going in there, correct? Anybody that going, I mean, this,
Yeah.
so you finna double the traffic that's finna go into that bottleneck. So how did this come out on that end? We fixing one solution, we're fixing one thing, but we're creating problems 100 feet to the west. I mean, we just double the traffic, we getting that traffic
Well,
quick
you
into
got
there.
those
When
back-to-back
you have-
lights too, and those aren't exactly in sync all the time
But that's what I'm
either.
saying, you already
Yeah.
got, they already bagged up. So we finna double the traffic going into there. Coming back west.
We
I mean,
did not
we gotta-
analyze.
I mean,
we-
because if that ain't part of the picture, then I don't think we've got a solution.
So I talked to Mitch Turner. If y'all remember way back, the CMAC grant that was given, where they synchronized all the signals on Goodman Road, I fought really hard because we were left out to get Commerce Street signalized or synchronized, and I wondered what had happened. So I sent a message to Mitch Turner, and he's working on getting the couple of pieces of that together that will get Commerce synchronized. So it might be beneficial for you to talk to his traffic engineer. He sent me an email on August 1st, kind of detailing what they were doing about that situation. They literally just kind of forgotten about it.
Well, me and Joe Frank used to get blessed every day at Lotia and 51 and Commerce and 51. Then with Joe, we had a blessing every day, man. Couldn't tell.
Yeah, I think everyone realizes the signal to I-55 and all the ramps and connectivity. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be done there. I mean, it's just a hot mess, honestly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But-
But my point is, though, is creating this solution by causing more headache on the end. So I'm just trying to say what.
I think we have to understand this is just a Band-Aid. I mean, there's a bigger fix that needs to be done, you know.
That's right. It's you really need another left turn lane signal, left turn additional lane going north from East Commerce onto McInville, truth be told. But, it's not a big storage issue there because you have such a long length of that, two-way turning lane. So it's not become as quite evident as this particular place because there's more traffic probably using in and out of Walmart as opposed to maybe Sonic in the AM. But we did look at the space. It's about 950 feet from the center of this intersection to the ramp. So we felt like, yes, there would be additional traffic there, but we felt like the queue space would be longer to allow the vehicles instead of backing them up on McInville, you would potentially be backing them up on Commerce, but there's a good bit of space there as opposed for this particular location. But as everyone noted, there's going to be trade-offs. If you do fix this, then there's going to be a trade-off somewhere else. But you try to try to address the biggest issue at the time. Not to say it's a perfect solution, it's a Band-Aid, and, you know, but there would be additional potential traffic in that ramp area. And what we could do is, you know, maybe share this with MDOT and see how this works with their traffic engineers to see if they would at least, as they synchronize these signals, at least consider this in their analysis so that we could have we really need more of a holistic approach of that entire commerce to address your point.
I'll forward the email to you and ask Mitch to put his engineer in touch with you.
Yeah, be good. And you know, I think the best approach with this and taking it to the next step is maybe sharing this with DeSoto Electric as your signal maintenance and upkeep, and let them put some numbers to this, because they're most familiar with the signals and what it would take, because you'd have to replace some signal heads because you have to have a dedicated signal head for protected left turn movement. So that would be possibly two additional signal heads, or at least maybe one with the replacement of the lens on the other, to try to get some idea of cost that it would take to do this.
Lee, did you want to say something?
Is there any way we could get them to price replacing that whole intersection with LED upgrades on that, so we can have some of the LED?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we would do is kind of turn this over back to the city, Joe Frank, and let y'all kind of coordinate, because there'd be some restriping needed as part of that cost, but, you know, striping's relatively.
So you think we, with our staff, need to get DeSoto Electric to come out and give us some pricing, and then get the striping company to come and give us pricing on what you're showing there?
Yeah, I think it'd be the best approach, as opposed to, and then seeing what, if any additional information they need from us as a part of this. So at least we can kind of have numbers to work from.
We can do that, and then I'll send you the email so you can talk to the MDOT
Yeah.
engineers.
And we can share the analysis that we've done with them and see how that kind of.
Right, so maybe next time we come back, you'll have talked to MDOT. We'll have some prices from DeSoto Electric and the striping company. We can bring a full package deal back to the board. Does that sound feasible?
To try to address the cost and your concern. Okay.
Everybody okay with the update? All right. Tracy, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to need a motion to make a determination to go into executive session regarding personnel matters.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. All right, we are going into executive session.